I said, this is my Super Nintendo. I actually picked that up at a flea market too, and this was in really, really good shape. Excellent condition. I believe I paid close to 40 for it. Now that came with all the wires. It seemed like a very reliable source and a controller. No games though, 40 bucks, whatever. It seems all right. Here I have my old school stereo. I actually got this from my brother-in-law's mom. It's got your turntable on the top. Got your double cassette that you should double taping or play, whatever. And then it's got, I believe, a 5 CD disc on the bottom. Now this is old, and granted, everything today is all modern, but this thing still rocks, man. This thing's got some good bass, and shit, it was free. So, and actually the way I got right now, what's playing is my iPad. I just have running on Pandora, which is on here. Now this iCade, this is another kind of a cool thing for the iPad, and you can get some emulation on that. This is actually jailbroken my iPod. Now this is first generation, so it works out well. You know, this is what actually started me back into the old classic games. When I was able to play these old games on this system, I really started to gain interest again, and that's what inspired me to build the arcades. Alright, so here I got my American dartboard. That's a lot of fun. We play that a lot. And got my old original Atari. No, actually it's not my original Atari, but it is an Atari. So I believe I got this at a yard sale. 2 controllers, 1 game, and the system for $5. Not bad. That is the only game that I have, which is Pong, I believe. Now, I forgot to show you up here, I picked this up from somebody on a yard sale as well. This has 75 classic Atari games, and I believe I paid 15 bucks for this thing. 2 wireless controllers. It does hook up right to here, so it's pretty cool. I'm not really a huge Atari fan because visually it's killing me. The graphics really aren't that great, so it's hard to get into it that much. Got my Game Boy Advance. I have maybe a handful of games for that. And then I have the original PSP that I picked up when I got those other ones. Now this is in really good shape. I believe this is the second generation of this. I'm not a professional on these. I'm not 100% sure. But it's in really good shape, and I like it. Something else to add to the collection. Alright, so now this machine here, this is something that, like I said, once I was messing with the iCade, I wanted to build one of these. And I started going online and looking at some things that people have made, and I was just blown away and amazed at some of the things that people were doing. So I said, oh man, I am absolutely gonna build that. So you can see here, I got some of this custom artwork. Now I did all this work myself. This is kind of what I do for a living, so it was easy to produce for myself. This is all Tekken on this side. Now this cabinet I literally built from scratch. I mean, I designed the shape, I fabricated the sign, and I mean the whole build. Did all the graphics, the designing. I had a buddy of mine that's really good with the wiring and computers. He's teaching me, but it's not my forte. But he's really good with helping me wire. It took us like 8 hours to wire this control panel. It was insane. Now I'm gonna make another video and a slideshow of this thing being built in stages, and you'll be able to see what a madness of wires this thing was. But this is a 4-player machine, and Now, granted, there aren't that many games that actually support 4-player, but there are some. You got The Simpsons, you got the X-Men, so there's some cool games out there that enable that 4-player, which is cool. This is actually a 42-inch monitor. This is an LG TV. Now, I built this drawer here, so this actually pulls out, and I got my wireless keyboard here, run my remote, and I have this PS3 controller, which is hooked USB to this hub. And the reason I have that is for some of the emulations, let's say PlayStation 1, Dreamcast, some of those, I'm sure there's a few others, but I'm just not thinking of them right now. They need more controls than what these 8 buttons can do. There's just not enough. So it works out well. But these are great for the old style classics, like all your arcade games, your Genesis, your Super Nintendo. This works out good for those. Okay, so let me go through here. Now, this is running a program called Hyperspin, which is really neat because what it does is it gives you a preview, as you see, of the game plan and some artwork before you actually play it. So right now I'm in the main wheel, which cycles through the systems themselves. And then if you were to go into one of the systems, then you would see the games within the system. But right now, let's start with Nintendo. So Nintendo, if I wanted to go in Nintendo, I would hit select. And now this is showing you box art, or actually the cartridge, excuse me, cartridge of the game and gameplay for every game. So you'll see the video and the cartridge, which is cool. Alright, so there is tons. Now we can also search alphabetical, so if you knew a game that you wanted, you could alphabetically add it. Now let's just say I like this game and I want to play this game a lot, but I don't want to always have to cycle through all this. So what I can do is I can go to favorites. Now see this, I can add to my favorites list, hit select. Now if I view my favorites, it'll be in here. Now I don't even remember what it just was called, but believe me, it's in here. These are the games that I have saved on my favorites. Here we are. So see? Rather than going through the entire alphabet, which I don't remember exactly how many Nintendo games, but I'm sure there's a few hundred. Okay, so Game Boy, we're gonna start with Nintendo. This is I'm gonna go through all the systems that are on here. Game Boy Color, GameCube. So like I said before, I didn't have that many GameCube games, but now with this, I have all the titles on there. I just can cycle right through, pick the game and play it, which is pretty cool. A ton of them. Same thing again, I can alphabetically select them and just go to it. So that's Nintendo GameCube. Then we got your 3DO. Same thing again. VG5000. Now this is some old school right here. Doubt I'll ever play it, but it's cool to have as a demonstration to show some of the games that were out there. Like, look at them killer graphics. That is just awesome. Not. Okay. RCA Studios. Again, this is like Pong days. That is some old school. 32X. Complete set. So here we're gonna now we have the actual box. the original box art, and then the video for all the games, which is really kind of neat. Sega CD, Dreamcast. Like I said before, I didn't have that many Dreamcasts, but now in here I got the whole list, all of them. Really cool. Now, one thing I do want to try to work on, I did find it for Nintendo 64, but I didn't really look. I want to see if I can locate a Dreamcast to USB remote or controller. That way, in the emulation, I can set it up. Like for the 64, I actually bought these controllers down here that are Nintendo 64, but they're actually USB. So that actually works out well because there's no other controller that really simulates that well. And it's hard to get the buttons to configure to make it feel like it did originally. So I gotta look into see if they have that for this, because that would be pretty nice to have. Alright, so let's go back out and go into the next one would be Game Gear. Genesis. Once again, you can have the box art, all the games. You can go alphabetically. You can add to favorites, all that stuff. Sega Master System. Sega M2. Supermodel. Nami. Sega Saturn. PlayStation. All the, I think there's 1,400 just in this one category alone. So all your classic PlayStation titles are right here, which is pretty cool. Alright, so Scum VM. This is kind of like a PC based game, I believe. It looks like a lot of mouse click and move type of games. They look kind of neat. Like you can see right there, the hands moving. Like puzzle type of games, I want to assume. That's pretty cool though. Super Nintendo. Complete set Super Nintendo. Got the little box artwork. Also, another thing, if you notice, it actually shows you the year and the manufacturer of each game. So that's actually pretty educational to go through and look at some of these games, who made them and when they were produced. It's kind of neat. Tatio Type X. And this is going to have more of your modern games. Like here, this is actually Super Street Fighter 4 that was just on there. There's not a ton of games on here, but this is Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition. Which is pretty cool. TurboGrafx 16. Zinc. Got your original Atari 2600. So again, I don't have that many games, but I have them all right here. So I don't really need the actual cartridge, because honestly, I'm not going to really play these anyway. They're neat to look at and go through, but I'm not going to sit here and spend hours playing them. That's just me. Atari 5200. There's probably more. This was kind of a real good classic game system. Atari 7800. Jaguar. That was a short-lived system. Lynx. Amstrad. This is some kind of PC gaming. Again, don't know a lot about it, but Thomas Wave. Now this, from my knowledge, is kind of like, now I could be wrong, but I believe, let me see, look at some of these titles. Nah, I think I'm getting this mixed up with something else, but one of these is kind of like Dreamcast over in Japan. They had like Dreamcast in arcade versions. They could have been that, but I'm not 100% sure. Another classic old game. Wonder Swan. ColecoVision. Really old. Casio PV1000. Daphne. A lot of great games in this. This was my era when I was a little kid in the arcades. Dragon's Lair. That was, look, 1983. That was awesome. Dragon's Lair 2. That actually came out the same year. These are all actual, they were like so ahead of their time. They were like true video with overlaid graphics on top. It was kind of neat. Still looks cool. Arcadia 2001. Good luck even trying to find that system. Now this is, I never even heard of this, but this is Adventure Vision. This is very much similar of representing Vectrex. I'm not even sure which one came first. In my opinion, Vectrex probably looked even better. Everything is red, which would really get old, I think, quickly. Channel F. Future Pinball. This is cool. So this is all kind of pinball games in here. Now these are rendered pretty well, so they look kind of cool. This is 300, the movie. So there's a bunch in here as well. Vectrex. Nintendo. Now this is the Japanese version of Super Nintendo. Game Boy. Game Boy Advance. Virtual Boy. This is another one that would give you a headache. Look at all that red. That would make you angry just playing that thing. And give you a migraine. But it's cool though. WiiWare. All the Wii games. Right on here. Which is neat. And television. Jukebox. Now you can actually add your own music in here and it'll just cycle through music playing. You could actually go to the extent of even downloading music videos and it would play the music video and play the song at the same time through there. Now MAME, this is the main one. This is the actual arcade emulation. Just in this system section, there's 8,500 games. Now, this has so many games. Not only can you search it alphabetically, but you can actually search it by genre. So if I search by genre, I can select, you see here we got all games, baseball, basketball, bowling, boxing, fighting, all these different systems to break it down even more, unless you knew the title. So if I go to my favorites list, I have a ton of games on here, and these are the classic titles. Now you'll notice the artwork in this main area is much more elaborate than the other systems. There's actually 3D animation playing overlaid on top of the video, not just the video playing. So it's really kind of cool. Okay, so yes, the videos, the artwork, much more elaborate. Now these are the actual games, like when you went to the arcade. You used to go into the arcade, play a game, was so excited, come home, put it in your console, and it just never looked the same. You're like, ah, I just wanted it to look like the arcade. Well, guess what? Now you do. This is the actual game. Really cool. Ton of games in here. Blades of Steel. Now, this is actually running off of a PC, and this is all 5.1 surround sound. You can see up here, I have, this is all Logitech. So I got the center speaker there. I got your left and right, one here, one there. And then I built these, this is all made out of aluminum tube. And then the surround rear speakers are up there. So it really makes it nice. So you can see them there. All right, so we're back to Odyssey 2, Mugen. Now Mugen is actually a system, not really a system, but a bunch of fighting games that a community of people put together. These are games that never actually resold or retailed. People make up their own characters, they make their own rules. They would have different characters fighting each other that never actually did fight in a game. This is a really cool, really neat system to have. Tons of different fighting games that are just unique and different. All right, Neo Geo Pocket Color, Neo Geo CD, PC Engine, Super Graphics, TurboGrafx 16, Nintendo 64, Nintendo DS, and back to Nintendo. So there's a ton of systems on here, as you can see. All right, so moving along down to the bottom here, I built this so that I could have all my original systems on here as well. Like up top here, I have a PS3. Now this is the old school FAT, which is backwards compatible. And I do have the Move connected on there as well. Up here is my 4 terabyte hard drive, which is what's running that whole console system that you just saw. On the left here, I have my Wii. That's the one that I told you I have probably like a 500 megabyte hard drive that holds probably 70 games. I could probably get up to 80. All right, here I got my Xbox 360 Connect for this Xbox right here. Original Xbox. Now this is my modded one. This has got a hard drive in it that's got, like I said, about 40 games. This is the PC, and then I have a GameCube also. Now all these things are hooked up. I just either change the input on the TV, and that's pretty much it. All right, so it's probably hard to see, but on this side, you're not going to be able to see it at all. I have Mortal Kombat. Let me pull it out a little bit. This has got all the Mortal Kombat artwork. that's it for this system. Moving along over here, I got my guitar. I also got that Rocksmith game, which is kind of cool. So this hooks up to the guitar, then the USB hooks like a controller would into the PS3, and you could learn how to actually play chords and different songs on PS3. Here I got my poker table. My bride-to-be got this for me from her work. This thing was brand new, never even used. And so we have some card days in here, which is nice. All right, over there I got my air conditioning, which is running right now. It's also a heater, so it's a heat and air. If it's not real cold, it works out well. And for the air conditioning, it really works out well. But my main heat source is this stove right here. Now this stove is actually a corn stove or a pellet stove. It actually does both. And it's all computerized. Push a button and it runs. This thing, I believe, is like 80,000 BTU. It just plugs into the wall, and then on the back here, it just has one hole that you put into the wall for the vent. So it's actually a double exhaust. One sucks air in and one blows out. It works really cool. Here I got my original Vectrex system. Now this thing, like I said, this is when I was early 80s. This is the original. Got my deer little light here. Some more bar signs. This is my air hockey table. This was another great find. Went on Craigslist, saw this thing. This guy had it free, come pick it up. So I called him up. Now when I got there, this keyboard or this board up top didn't function. So because it didn't function, he didn't feel that it was ethical to sell it. So basically he gave it to me for free, which was the intent when I went there. He said it's free. Now I could tell by the photos that it was in decent shape. Now I did have to do some TLC to it and clean it up, but it looked pretty good. It was really good shape. Me and a buddy of mine, the same guy that helped me do the wiring, we took this apart. Basically what happened was his kids took this scoreboard off and the wires run underneath. They were probably playing beer pong, which he said, and they ripped the wire internally off the board chipset. So once we took it apart, it really wasn't that bad to fix, and now it works perfectly. I also added some blue LEDs underneath, which is kind of neat. So in the nighttime, this actually glows. These pucks glow. So it's really cool. Got another sign up here. Old school phone. That's a functional phone, but I don't actually have it hooked up. But I just thought it added a neat look in here. Got my water cooler. Now this is also a new find that I just picked up. This is a Japanese slot machine. Now this thing is pretty cool because it's Terminator, so already how can that not be cool? 3 credits. Play some cool videos. See, I got a free spin. Oh, actually no, I won 10. Now when you get into the bonus stages, this thing will go crazy and play all kind of music and videos. Let's see if I'm any luck. Free spin. Now there is a way to convert this into regular money. From what I read, all you have to do is actually bend this plate where the coin goes, and it changes the thickness of the feeder so that it can actually handle a regular quarter. So that'd be kind of neat. All right, so moving along here, this is my racing simulator. Now, portion of this I built and portion of this I bought. The tube, the framing, I did not make. This came from, I believe the company's called Carriage Works. This is a really nice rig. This is all powder coated, real heavy reinforced framework. But I didn't just want it on the ground. And also what I had to do on the back here is I had to rig up these brackets because it only was gonna handle, let's say, a 30 or a 30 some inch TV. You can see these holes should have been in here. So that's as wide as the TV is, but now these are way outside. So this is actually a 42 inch or a plasma. So what I did is I built this box, and this box is all made out of melamine and then full color digital printed graphics that I put on top of them, and that actually has a non-slip laminate on the print itself, so it doesn't get gouged up, it doesn't get scratched real easy, and it's a non-slip resistant thing. It's got LEDs running across the bottom. And I also made this skid plate here so that when you're going in and out, you won't mess up the edge of the panel. This seat is fully adjustable forward and back. And I also have what they call a butt kicker underneath of the seat. I don't know if you could see it in there, but it actually rumbles to the bass. It takes the low frequency sounds from the bass and it creates a rumbling effect under the seat beside the subwoofer that I have. So this is a 42 inch plasma. Now right now this system is all running off of a PS3, which you can see right here. The PS3 stands up vertically, and this has a 6-speed transmission with clutch, brake, and gas. You can see down there. 5.1 surround sound. I got my front speaker there. I got my center speaker right here. And then the front right. This is fully adjustable as well. But pretty much once I get it to where I want it, I don't need to keep adjusting it. But if somebody comes in extremely tall or smaller, then they can do that. All right, so moving along. This is a lot of fun now, I'll tell you. I built these fins. These fins just give it kind of a race car effect. And on the back here, you can see the receiver. The receiver is running, like I said, 5.1. This is a Pioneer surround sound system with the sub. So this thing is really kind of cool. All right, moving along. This is my pool table. This is a Brunswick 3/4 inch slate table. I ordered this. This is probably 12 years old, but really good condition. I got pretty much enough room all the way around it to play with no problem. There's one spot right here that's a little tight. I have another shorter table or stick in those situations where I can adjust for that. But other than that, there's no problem with fitting it. One thing I wanted to show that I forgot to show you is I made this skylight here. Now this light actually used to be a winch hole. This was my shop before, so I converted that into, I had like this big hole, and I was wondering like, oh, what am I gonna do with that? How am I gonna cover that up. So I designed this sign and made it a box lighted area so that you can have the lights on and it finishes it off. So that's pretty much everything. If anybody has any questions or comments, feel free. If there's something that you want me to touch over a little more detail, let me know. I hope you enjoyed the video, and have a great day. Enjoy. See you on the next video. Thanks.